Alex, there are so many different religions out there. What makes Christianity so special? Why Christianity?
Yeah, it's a very, very good question. Um, Everything I'm going to tell you right now is unique to Christianity. So let me go through a few points. The first one is only in Christianity is God knowable, personal, and relational. You can actually have a relationship and know God and hear from God. No other major religion makes that claim. In Hinduism, you've got to reach moksha to attain a union with God. In Buddhism, you got to get to nirvana. Both of these, by the way, are very, very, very rare that anyone can achieve them. In the New Age movement, God is a animating force. In the Muslim religion, you can only know Allah's will. You can't actually have a personal relationship with Him. So point number one is that God is knowable and God is relational. Only in Christianity. Point number two is that only in Christianity do we have a God of justice and a God of love. On the cross, both God's great love for us is fulfilled and God's justice. And as an example, in the Muslim religion, in order to get to heaven, you are put on a scale, and God weighs your good deeds with your bad deeds. And if your good deeds outweigh your bad deeds, then you go to heaven. The problem with that, of course, is that's not justice, because you can be a pedophile, and as long as you do a bunch of good deeds, you can outweigh it, and pedophiles get to go to heaven. Well, in Christianity, sin is dealt with decisively. And that's another point, is that only in Christianity, see, every major worldview, including atheism, acknowledges that something is wrong with mankind, that we are broken. That's the one stream that every religion has and every worldview is there's something wrong with mankind. Well, only in Christianity is sin dealt with decisively, not just forgiven, but the price for our sins are paid for and dealt with decisively. Next, Christianity is grounded in historical events, not mythical events. Okay? If you look at the resurrection of Christ, the death, burial, and resurrection of Christ, this is a historic event. And if you read through the Old and New Testament, you see that it's constantly naming names and pointing out buildings and what have you. It's a historical religion. Are there miracles that are claimed? Of course they are, but generally speaking, it's grounded in a historical event, primarily the life, death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus. Next, our sacred text is confirmed with prophecy, fulfilled prophecy. There is over 2,000 prophecies in the Bible, of which many, with the exception of the last days, have been fulfilled. Clear prophecies that are still active and alive today. No other sacred text has that. So within Christianity, again, we have all these fulfilled prophecies. Some people say as many as 3,500, depending on what you call a prophecy or not. But you have all these prophecies, very specific about events that are going to happen, and then they've actually happened. Again, with the exception of the final days, the second coming of Christ, thousands have been fulfilled. So very, very powerful. Again, no other worldview has that. Next, the authenticity of our founder, Jesus, is confirmed with signs and wonders and miracles. No other prophet, leader of a world religion can claim a sinless life and miracles. So he stands out over and above by, again, demonstrating that he was holy and sinless. And then more importantly, he was willing to die for us. And again, you don't see that with the founders of all these other major religions. Next, salvation. Salvation is based on grace, a gift from God, rather than works. Again, most other worldviews, you've got to perform all these feats. Again, whether you're talking about Hinduism, whether you're talking about Buddhism, all these feats you have to do. And if you're good enough, then you can get to heaven, or again, in the case of the Hindu religion, moksha and nirvana. So our relationship with God is based on grace, a free gift of salvation for those who believe, and again, not the case in the Muslim religion. And finally, because Christianity makes so many promises of a life of peace, deliverance from sin, conquering over a life of sin, and again makes all these wonderful promises that you just don't see in other world religions. I can go on and on. I mean, as a social philosophy, as an example, Christianity really developed Western civilization. And if we compare Western civilization to all these other civilizations that are based on these other worldviews, you see that Christianity advances social progress better than others. Again, I could go on and on, but Christianity really stands apart from all these other religions. So when you see people lumping them in together with these other world religions, it's quite frustrating. But does that help answer the question how Christianity is set apart from all these other worldviews?
That clarifies a lot. Thank you, Alex.
Good.